Look at this. This house was painted less than 2 years ago. Brand new paint. Professional job. The whole thing. And it's already doing this. See how it peels in one clean strip? That is not a painting problem. That is a primer problem. And if your house was built or repainted in the last 5 years, there is a very good chance the exact same thing is about to happen to you. In this video, I want to show you 3 things. First, what primer actually is, and why skipping it properly is costing homeowners thousands of dollars. Second, the specific trick contractors and builders use to make it look like they primed when they really didn't. It is so simple and so sneaky that most people never catch it. And third, before you hire anyone to paint your house, or before you do it yourself, I'll show you one test that takes 10 seconds and tells you everything. Let's get into it. Okay, so what is primer, and why does it matter so much? Think of your wall like a sponge. Fresh drywall, bare wood, old plaster, all of it is porous. It has tiny holes all over the surface. When you put paint directly on that surface without priming first, 2 things happen. 1, the wall sucks the paint in unevenly, so you end up with blotchy spots, thin patches, and you need way more coats. 2, the paint has nothing strong to grip onto. It's basically just sitting on the surface. And when paint has nothing to grip onto, it eventually lets go. Primer is the glue between the wall and the paint. It seals the surface. It gives the paint something to bond with. When it's done right, paint bonds so well that you genuinely cannot peel it off cleanly. It tears before it peels. That's what it should look like. Now compare that to what I showed you at the start. When paint peels like that, like a sticker coming off a plastic bag, that's primer failure. Either the primer was wrong, applied too thin, or honestly, it wasn't applied at all. Here is the trick, and once I show you this, you'll start seeing it everywhere. You know those paint cans that say paint and primer in one on the label? You've seen them. Every hardware store has them. They cost a little more. They sound great. They are not primer. A real primer is a completely separate product. It's formulated specifically to penetrate the surface, seal it, and create a bonding layer. Paint and primer in one is just paint, regular paint, with a slightly thicker consistency. There is no primer in it. The word primer on the label is a marketing word, not an ingredient. The people who sell this stuff know this. The contractors who use it know this. The builders who spec it into new homes, they definitely know this. So what happens? The contractor rolls this product on your wall. It looks exactly like primer went down first. The invoice says prime and paint, 2 coats, but there was never any real primer on that wall. And it holds up fine for a while, usually 18 months to 3 years, depending on your climate. Then one day, maybe after a humid summer or after your house settles a little, it starts to let go. And when it lets go, it doesn't flake or chip, it peels, in sheets, because the bond was never there to begin with. Actually, quick question before I keep going. Has your paint done this? Bubbled, cracked, or peeled within the first couple of years? Drop it in the comments. I want to know how many of you are dealing with this right now. And if you caught it, how old was the paint job when it started? Let me know below. So why does this keep happening? A real primer coat adds time. You have to apply it, let it dry properly, usually 4 to 8 hours, and then paint. On a new build with 40 houses going up at once, that extra half day per house adds up fast. Real primer also costs more per gallon. And here's the thing, nobody checks. You can't tell from looking at a wall whether it was properly primed or not. The inspector doesn't check. The building code doesn't require a specific primer product. By the time the paint starts failing, the builder's 1-year warranty is long gone. So the incentive is, skip the real primer, save money per house, pocket the difference. You won't find out for 2 years, and when you do, it's your problem. Okay, so how do you actually know if your home was primed properly? There's a test. Takes 10 seconds. You don't need any tools, and it works whether your paint job is brand new or 3 years old. I'll show you exactly how to do it right now. Go grab a piece of regular masking tape, or any tape you have. Pick a spot on your wall, somewhere you don't mind testing. Behind a door is fine. Press the tape firmly onto the wall. Run your finger over it a few times so it's stuck down well. Now pull it off. Sharp and fast. Look at the tape. If the tape comes off clean, Maybe a little dust, no paint, you're fine.
If paint comes off on the tape,
Your bond is weak. Real primer was either skipped or done wrong. That's it. 10 seconds. No tools, no experience needed. Now do this in 3 different spots: near a window or exterior wall, in a bathroom, and in a room that gets afternoon sun. Those are the places moisture and heat attack the bond first. If paint comes off in any of those spots, you need to know before it gets worse. Okay, so what do you do if your paint is already peeling, or if you're about to hire someone? If your paint is already peeling, don't just repaint over it. The new paint will fail too, for the same reason. You need to strip back to a clean surface, properly prime, and then paint. I know that sounds like a lot of work, but painting over failing paint is just paying twice for the same problem. When you're buying primer, look for the words bonding primer or high adhesion primer. 2 brands that professional painters consistently recommend are Zinsser Bin and Sherwin-Williams Extreme Bond. Both are widely available. Both are real primer, not paint in a primer costume. They cost more than builder-grade primer, usually $5 to $10 more per gallon. On a whole house, that difference is maybe $40 to $80 more, versus repainting your entire house in 3 years. If you're hiring a painter, ask them one question, just one. What primer do you use, and how long do you let it dry before painting? If they say paint and primer in one, that's your answer. Find someone else. If they say they let it dry 2 to 4 hours, that's also too short. Real primer needs 4 to 8 hours minimum. If they give you a specific product name and talk about dry time, that's a good sign. Get it in writing. The primer product they're using, the dry time between coats. A painter who doesn't want to put that in writing is a painter who plans to skip it. Here's the thing about all of this. Paint is the most visible part of any home. It's the first thing people see. And it's one of the easiest things to cut corners on, because those corners don't show up for 2 years. The primer is the part nobody sees, which is exactly why some people skip it. Now you know what to look for, and you know the question to ask. If this helped, subscribe, because next week I'm going after the windows in new homes. Not just the glass, the seal around the frame, the flashing behind the trim, the part you cannot see. 90% of new home windows are installed in a way that guarantees water gets in within 5 to 7 years. Not might, guarantees. I'll show you what the installation looks like, what the failure looks like, and the one thing you can check on your own windows this weekend. That one's up next. See you there.